Cam and Company here on NRAnews.com and Sirius XM Patriot. Very pleased to have with us in studio tonight from Knife Rights. Mr. Doug Ritter is in town. Doug, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. It's always wonderful to be here with you.
Well, appreciate you coming in studio. What brings you to the D.C. area?
Oh, I'm working on standards for better survival beacons and that sort of thing, and doing some knife rights stuff as well.
Yeah, yeah. The knife rights stuff's been keeping you busy. I mean, it's
taking over my life. Careful what you wish for. You might end up leading a national organization to defend our freedoms.
I mean, I remember talking with you a few years ago when you were getting this off the ground, and you thought, you know, we've got the NRA for our firearms, but we really don't have anything for knives. And there are a lot of threats to knife owners around the country.
And now we have Knife Rights, the second front in the defense of our Second Amendment. It's taking off. Well, we're getting interest from all over.
Good and bad. You're getting, you know, obviously you're getting the interest from gun owners, and that's fantastic. But you're also getting the interest of, you know, cities like New York City and Boston, Massachusetts. They've really been taking a close look at knives, right?
Well, you know, the NRA has shut them down on guns. And so we look like an easy target. And now my job is to make sure we aren't an easy target. And so we filed a civil rights suit against the city of New York and District Attorney Cyrus Vance Jr., who's persecuting knife owners and retailers in New York City. We're opposing the Boston City Council, where they're trying to enact a licensing scheme for convenience stores to sell knives over 2 inches long, which is absurd.
2 inches?
2 inches. 2 inches, yeah.
Uh-huh. What would they, so they'd have to get a special city license?
Yes, their scheme would be that only convenience stores, except not really, would have to have a license to sell knives that are over 2 inches long. And the only exemptions are department stores and hardware stores. Now, that leaves a whole world of retailers out there who now are included with the convenience stores and have to have a license. And why do you need a license anyway, since they already license stores and they already have a law on the books that makes it illegal to sell a knife smaller than 2.5 inches to a minor?
Now, is it true that they compared, or they called knives like a gateway weapon, right? Like you start with knives, and then soon you move on to guns, and then your flamethrowers and bazookas and
exactly. Is that the most absurd thing you ever heard? This was the representative of the police department saying that. If you go to kniferights.org on our website, we have a entertaining short video of some of the high points, or you might call it the low points, of the farcical hearing that they had the week before last in Boston on this subject. And Todd Rathner, who's our Director of Legislative Affairs and a member of the Executive Committee of the NRA, was there. And he put the counselors on the hot seat about some of the absurd statements they said. So.
I mean, are they really trying? It sounds like they're just taking the gun control argument and then picking it up and moving it over and just plopping it down and over in the knife side of things.
You just got the prize.
I mean, that's it.
That's exactly it. It's the same ridiculous arguments. You know, a number of years ago, Boston decided that they would license gun stores.
Yeah.
Guess how many gun stores are left in Boston? None.
Uh-huh.
And this is just a way that they are going to try to get rid of knife stores because, you know, surely nobody would use the knife that's in every home in the kitchen for some criminal activity except, oh, yeah, that's what most knife violence is caused with, kitchen knives. So this is absurd.
Well,
and the idea that knives leads to heavier duty weapons like guns or bazookas or hand grenades is so absurd it would be a funny comedy sketch, except that's what the policeman said.
I mean, you look, I suppose I did have a Swiss Army knife when I was a kid, and now I own several firearms, but I still don't know if I buy the idea of this gateway that a knife provides. But I got to say, Doug, you know, I remember a few years ago looking at England and what it was doing, and you know, again, they already won basically with guns, and so they moved on to knives. And you actually had a group of chefs come out and say that they were okay with banning pointed kitchen knives because it would make everybody safer. Now, you had a bunch of other chefs come out and say, whoa, whoa, what are you doing? You're crazy.
Yes. I mean, that was insane. But almost all the knives that we carry and use daily here in the United States are illegal or highly frowned upon in England. And that's where Boston wants to take us. That's where New York City wants to take us. They want to take us to the point that these tools that we use every day for work and play and recreation and at home, and that very occasionally we use to defend our lives, they want to take these tools away from us because somehow that's going to make us safer. Well, England, who has probably the most tyrannical knife laws in the world, has the highest rate of violence with knives anywhere. And guess where all those knives are coming from? Kitchens. They're kitchen knives. They're kitchen cleavers. They make a cardboard sheath and stick them in their pants to carry them.
You know, you never really hear about that over here, Doug. Now, all right, now what? So we talked about Boston a little bit. What's going on with New York? Because the DA there is waging war on knives as well.
He's persecuting knife owners. I want to present you with our District Attorney Cyrus Vance Jr. Memorial Gravity Knife, because the DA says that this folding utility knife is a gravity knife and therefore illegal under New York law, which is ridiculous.
This little thing right here.
That little thing, which folds open to reveal a blade, is a gravity knife, according to him, because if you are really good, you can flick that open.
You can flick it.
Somebody can.
I'm going to need some practice with that, I think.
I think you are. And here's the problem with the way they are doing this. They're saying if anyone can flick the knife open and it locks in place, then that's a gravity knife. Note the anyone part of this argument. So one of our plaintiffs in the civil rights lawsuit, Mr. Copeland, had shown his Benchmade knife to two New York City cops.
Okay.
They both looked at the knife. They both tried to flick it open. They said, no, this is not a gravity knife. Except the third cop who saw it clipped to his pocket said, I can flick that open. And on the sixth try, he did manage to.
6 times it took him.
And arrested John Copeland. That's the absurdity. There's no rationality. There's no way that any individual can go into a store and buy a knife and not know that it's legal according to the DA.
Right.
Because the reality is almost any knife with enough strength and talent and practice behind it can be flicked open. It's an absurd interpretation of the state law, which is very straightforward.
That is, and what's the penalty for violating this?
Potentially a year in jail. I mean, this is not a parking ticket. This is not you get a little ticket and go on about your business. This is they take you to jail, they book you, they photograph you, they fingerprint you, and you stand the chance of going to jail for a year. And oh, by the way, if you happen to have a city permit for a firearm, they will come by and collect all your firearms because you are now suspected of a Class 4 misdemeanor and have to turn in all your firearms. Even if you beat the charge, which most people do, you may not get your firearms back.
So you can be arrested, prosecuted, or even not prosecuted. It doesn't even matter if you're not prosecuted.
Very few of these are actually prosecuted. They're usually dismissed or dismissed with,
dismissed with cause or whatever. Yeah.
I mean,
but you still lose your guns.
You could. Wow. I mean, they will take your guns away. You may get them back. No guarantees. We have 2 individuals right now who are fighting that fight. They lost their guns because they had to be turned in. You got 24 hours to turn in your guns.
Yeah.
And even if they beat this, there's no assurance that they will be allowed to get their guns back.
But Bloomberg says, Doug, that he respects the Second Amendment. He's not after gun owners. Why would he do a thing like this?
Bloomberg speaks with forked tongue, I dare say.
All right, but you guys have brought suit, right?
We filed a federal civil rights lawsuit back in June. We've been playing legal ping pong with the DA since then. He filed a motion to dismiss. Our lead attorney, David Jensen, filed our answer to that, which cut and slashed and beat his motion to dismiss to pulp. And now it's his turn, and this will go back and forth. But I think we have a very, very strong argument. The problem is it's going to take a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of individuals, meanwhile, being prosecuted and persecuted to get this fixed. It's terribly unfortunate. All I can say is if you are a knife owner or if you are a knife owner going through New York City, not the rest of the state, but New York City, do not carry your knife clipped to your pocket, even if your jacket's covering it. I mean, we've had instances where people have gone through the turnstiles in the subway and moved their jacket aside, and their clip knife could then be seen, and they've been arrested. Because in New York, unlike everywhere else, open carry is against the law and concealed carry is required.
Oh, really?
And if they can see the clip, that's open carry, and they have reason to stop you.
Wow.
And if they can flick it, or if their friend can flick it, or if they can call someone down from elsewhere that can wrist flick the knife open, you're going to go to jail.
Meanwhile, I can't help but point out there are plenty of violent criminals on the streets of New York who don't seem to be too frightened by this particular law, and frankly, who don't seem to be getting arrested or charged with violating this particular law.
Exactly. And what's even more annoying on another level is a city that has serious financial issues is spending a fortune bringing these cases, virtually all of which end up dismissed one way or the other.
Well, yeah.
Which means the city didn't get any fines out of it.
Right.
It's clearly they want to persecute knife owners.
So what can people do to help you, Doug? I mean, what's the website for Knife Rights?
Kniferights.org, www.kniferights.org. Please join, make a donation. We are the NRA for knife owners. We are the second front in the defense of our Second Amendment. And we are out there fighting for your rights in New York and elsewhere. We just announced that we're running a bill in Pennsylvania where we're going for knife law preemption and to get rid of all the prohibitions on switchblades and other cutting instruments and cutting tools that are in Pennsylvania law, just like we did in New Hampshire where we got rid of the ban on switchblades.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, it's a real pleasure having you in studio again. It's great seeing you. Thank you so much for my my knife that I will not take with me to New York City because now I'm terrified of what might happen. But, Doug, always a pleasure, sir, and I look forward to doing this again very soon.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.